No game you play to win. Love, it doesn't come by itself so easily. The love you have got to give to get, you see. I know it's been some time. I just hope you finally found some peace of mind, and that your troubled soul is.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Bruna. Today we are going to be making a super trendy top that everyone is making right now, which is the square top, in which you create a square of any kind, of any stitch pattern that you want to do. I made mine with the beautiful Alpine stitch, and then you make a square and then you turn that into a top, in which I'm going to show you in today's project. So super fun. I cannot wait to share this with you because it's so beautiful. This top is going to cinch in your waist, kind of like a corset. So I love this top so much, and it's also the perfect project to make now that summer is ending, so you have the last project for you to make before summer ends. So this top is super easy to make. I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure you will love making this top because it's super quick, easy, and super beautiful at the same time. So I hope you enjoy, and if you do, don't forget to leave your massive thumbs up as you always do, and also don't forget to subscribe and to turn on the notification bell to receive notifications every time I post a new crochet tutorial or a new video here on the channel. So enjoy today's project. So now let's move on into the tutorial. So here we have all of the materials I'm going to be using for today's project, starting with the yarn. So for the actual tutorial, I am using the Iggy Ghost, this beautiful shade here. It's all colorful. I love this yarn so much. I already love this one in particular. When they made this, that it's colorful, I loved it even more. But then for the swatches that I'm going to be making, because this project is super easy, so I'm going to show you everything in little swatches, and then you can make in any size that you want. I'm using this one here in this beautiful copper shade. It's also Iggy, but this one is just one shade. And then I'm also going to be using a measuring tape, Tapestry needle, small pair of scissors, a 3.5 millimeters hook, some pins. You don't need to use pins, it's just that I prefer pinning things together when I'm sewing, because we are going to be doing a little bit of sewing at the top of our top. So that's why I need some pins, but you can skip that if you want. And then for the string that I'm going to be making, I'm going to be using my knitting mill. This is the very first time using this tool that I got. Oh my god, it's incredible. I'm in love. I'm never going to be making straps ever again, because I love this now. And it made the most beautiful thing ever. So I'm gonna show you how to use it. If you don't have this tool in particular, I'm going to be giving you some other options that you can do that as well. You can do with just a chain, or you can do some single crochets as well on top of a chain. So there are other methods as well that you can do to create the same, not the same effect, because this is pretty different. It's rounded, as you can see. It's kind of like a cord, but you can do in more like a crochet style as well. So these are all the materials. So now I'm going to be explaining to you how you're going to be making the top to fit your size. So this top is going to be made to measure. So you will need a few little measurements. That's why I'm using my measuring tape. So to make in your size, you're going to be following 3 little steps. So the first step is for you to take your bust circumference, in which for me, you can see my little calculation here. For me, it's 92 centimeters. And then for step 2, you're gonna get the bust circumference, and you're going to be dividing it by 2, in which for me, it's 46 centimeters. And then the last step, you're gonna get the result of step number 2, and you're going to be minus 8 centimeters. And then you're going to be using this result that you have here. So 46 minus 8, for me, it's 38 centimeters. So you're gonna get this result, and you're going to be noting it down, because we are going to be using this to create our very first base of double crochets. All right, so that's everything that you need to crochet this top. Very, very simple. It's going to be a square. This is a square top, super trendy, super famous out there. Everyone is making one right now, so we are going to be making one too. And to start with, we are going to be doing a foundation double crochet row of, in my case, 82 double crochets. And we are counting the chain 3 that we have at the beginning too, because we go up a chain 2, so we are counting that one as well. And this 82 double crochets, it's exactly to 38 centimeters. And also you want to make sure that this very first row that you do of double crochets is a multiple of 2. These are all the little things that you have to keep in mind when making this top. All right, so I'm going to be making a little swatch because I already have my square completed. So here I have the square, as you can see. So I'm going to be measuring here. I'm going to just skip the single crochet that it's here at the beginning because it's from the bubble stitch. So here, all the way to the other side. So I have 38.5. So you want to get as close as possible to that centimeter, to that measurement, which is the measurement that we have calculated at the beginning of the video, as I already showed it to you. I'm going to be doing a swatch of 10 centimeters. And if you want to learn how to make a double crochet foundation row, I have a tutorial on my channel where I teach you how to do that, and also with other stitches too. So you can check that if you want a more detailed instruction on how to do a double crochet foundation row. But today I'm just gonna do it a little bit quicker. So a slip knot, chain 4. So the first one is going to be for the next double crochet that we are gonna do for the very first one. So once you have the chain 4, we can wrap the yarn around the hook, go through the very first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first one, keeping the first one on the hook. So now we have 3 loops on the hook, and from here we can do the double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Wrap the yarn around the hook, go through that very first stitch, making sure that you get 2 little stitches here from the base, from the very first stitch. And then yarn over, pull through 1, the very first one, keeping that on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's how we are going to be doing the double crochet foundation row. Just keep on repeating that same step until you have the measurement of double crochets that you need for your top. So I'm going to be doing 10 centimeters of double crochets, and then I will be back to show you how you're going to be measuring the double crochets. All right, so I finished here with my double crochets, and I have 20 stitches in total. Remember that we are counting for the double crochet row the chain at the beginning. When we do the single crochets, we are not counting the chain at the beginning. And as you can see here, we have exactly 10 centimeters. All right, and also it's a multiple of 2. Also remember that for my top, I made 82 double crochets. For the swatch, I'm only doing 20 so that I can show you how to do it. So to go up, this next row is going to be with single crochets. And then the next one, which is going to be also with double crochets, we are going to be starting with the Alpine stitch. So the Alpine stitch is always going to be on the right side of your project. So chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. Turn project. Now we are gonna get this very first stitch that you can find. So go through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. All right, so that's a single crochet. So we are going to be doing single crochets all the way down. So you will be having 20 single crochets into this row 2. When you get here at the end, you will see that I have here the double crochet, the last one, and then the chain 3. So we are going to be doing a single crochet on top of this double crochet, and then we are going to be doing a single crochet on top of the chain. You can always turn like this. I think it's a little bit easier when you turn. So it's like this, and I just kind of twist the chain like this. And then I go underneath this little chain here, the very first one you can find, go through, pull up a loop, and single crochet. All right? So you can always count, make sure that you have 20 single crochets into this row 2. So this one is row number 2. So now to go into row number 3 and starting with the Alpine stitch, we are going to chain 3, so 2, 3, turn project. So now we can start with the Alpine stitch. So we are going to be skipping this very first stitch, this one, and we are going to be going right underneath and around this double crochet to create the Alpine stitch. So wrap the yarn around the hook, go under the previous double crochet, and then you're going to pull up a loop going around this double crochet, and you want to pull nice and high until it's kind of even with the chain 3 here at the beginning, just like this. And then you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? And then if you turn this way, you will see that these 2 stitches are from, the first one is from the chain and the second one it's from this double crochet. So the next one, we are going to be doing a double crochet right on top. You can always turn on the other side to see. So we have 1, 2 here on the 3rd stitch. So going to the next one, the next stitch available, and then you're going to be doing a double crochet right on top of the single crochet stitch. All right, so we are not doing exactly as we did here. So double crochet right into the next stitch. So now wrap the yarn around the hook, skip the next double crochet, go into this one, now into the next one available. So skip one, go into this one, and we are going to be doing exactly the same as we did here. So go underneath, around this double crochet, you're going to pull up a loop and go all the way high, leveling with the other double crochets here and also the first Alpine that we've created. And then now we can create the double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Okay? So now you will see that the stitch that we are going to be working next, it's very close to the previous Alpine stitch that we've created. So create the next double crochet on top of the next single crochet stitch available. So you're going to be skipping the previous one if we turn this way. So you will see that we have the one from the chain, the one from the Alpine stitch, the one from the double crochet, Alpine stitch, double crochet. All right, so you're going to be skipping this one and working the double crochet on top of the next single crochet stitch. So now we are going to go into the next Alpine stitch. So skip this double crochet, which is going to create that effect, and then go into the next one and create the Alpine stitch. Go underneath, pull nice and high, and then double crochet. So that's all you have to do. All right, it's very simple. Just follow these 2 steps all the way to the end of the row. So when you get at the end, you will have 2 single crochets at the end of the row because we are not counting the chain 1 at the beginning here. In this case at the end, but at the beginning of this row, we are not counting the chain 1. So the next one, which is stitch 19, we are going to be doing a double crochet on top of the single crochet stitch, and then this one here, which is going to be the Alpine stitch, we are gonna go underneath the single crochet and in between the two stitches in this little gap here. And then here's where we are going to be doing the last double crochet. So now from here, we are going to chain one. So now we are going to be doing one row of single crochets, turn project, go into the very first stitch, single crochet, and then you're going to follow the stitches that you have into the previous row, and you're going to be creating single crochets right on top. You will see that it's very, very easy to find your stitches because it's just double crochet stitches, so they are very easy to find. And you're also going to be having 20 stitches into this row. Remember that the chain 3 counts as a stitch, so make sure that you do a single crochet on top of this stitch here as well. I just like to turn mine. It's a little bit difficult to turn, but it makes all the difference at the end. You can see, just making the last single crochet right on top, and it kind of turns the chain here towards the front, in which it looks super pretty. So we are going to be chaining 3, turn project. So now we have to see what we have here into the previous row. So we have the double crochet by itself here, and then the Alpine stitch. All right, so when you see the Alpine stitch, right on top of this stitch, you're going to be doing a double crochet right on top of the single crochet stitch. So skipping this first one because this one is from the chain, going to the next one and double crochet right on top. When you see a double crochet without the Alpine stitch, you're going to be doing an Alpine stitch going around these double crochets. So just recapping, wrap the yarn around the hook, go under the double crochet, the one that you have to do the Alpine stitch, pull up a loop, move all the way up, the same level as the other stitches on the side, and then here you're going to be doing the double crochet. And then you're going to be skipping the next stitch here of the single crochets, and then you're gonna go right on top of the next stitch, which is right on top of the Alpine stitch, as you can see. Go right on top of that single crochet stitch and then double crochet. So now skip the next stitch and go and create the Alpine stitch going around the next double crochet that it's without the Alpine stitch around. So go around this double crochet and create the Alpine stitch. Going to the next one available, remember that we are skipping the previous one because this one counts as the Alpine stitch. So this one that we have skipped counts as this one, all right? Going to the next one, right on top of the Alpine stitch, and create a double crochet right on top. So that's what we are going to be doing. So Alpine stitch on top of the double crochet without the Alpine stitch, and then a double crochet right on top of the Alpine stitch into the single crochet stitch. So when you get at the end, you should have 2 stitches left. So into the next one, so we have an Alpine stitch here, so a double crochet by itself on top of the Alpine stitch. We are going to be doing an Alpine stitch into this last double crochet. And to finish this row, we are going to be doing a double crochet right on top of the last single crochet. So you see I'm skipping this one that it's already from the Alpine stitch, and then creating a double crochet, on top of this last single crochet, because we are counting all the single crochets that we have here. And you will see that one row is going to finish like this, as this 5th row, And then one row is going to be finishing like the previous one that we did with the Alpine stitch. So we are going to be going around this little gap that we have. All right, so it's always going to be these 2 rows that we are going to be doing. So now you can just go ahead and repeat this as many times as you need. So chain 1, turn project, and single crochet all the way down. So this is a row with single crochets. So now we are going to chain 3, turn project. So as you can see here is a little bit different. So we have the double crochet by itself here and then the Alpine stitch. The previous one was the contrary. We had the Alpine stitch and then the double crochet by itself. So what you're going to be doing from this chain, you're going to wrap the yarn around the hook. You're going to go around this first double crochet. You're going to be skipping this previous stitch here. And then you're going to be creating the Alpine stitch into this stitch. So remember that we are skipping this one, that it's from the Alpine stitch. We are going to go into, in this case, the 3rd stitch, counting this one, the one from the chain as 1, and then creating a double crochet right on top of that one because we have the Alpine stitch on the previous row. All right, so that's all we have to do. When you see a double crochet by itself, you're going to be doing an Alpine stitch right on top. And then when you see the Alpine stitch, you're going to be going right on top of that stitch and of the single crochet stitch and creating a double crochet. Just following these 2 steps all the way down. And then we are going to be doing what we did into the 2nd row with the Alpine stitch. So we are going to be going underneath and through this little gap in between these 2 stitches and creating the double crochet, kind of to mimic the Alpine stitch but going on the side. Now I have 10.5 centimeters because we are kind of stretching it and doing kind of the actual pattern, so it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be half a centimeter or even a centimeter bigger than the centimeter that you've started with because we are adding more rows and stretching and moving the pattern around. So mine here now it's 10.5 centimeter, in which is not a problem at all. All right, and I have 4.5 centimeters now here completed, and I need to make 10 centimeters. For my top, I've done 77 rows with the Alpine stitch. I am counting the very first row, also the single crochets in between the rows, and also the Alpine stitch. So this is a total of rows that I did for my top. So it's 82 double crochets by 77 rows in total to create 38 by 38 centimeters, which is the square that I'm making. So now I'm gonna go ahead and finish my 10 centimeters of rows that I have to do for my little swatch, and then I will be back to show you how to do the little finishings, the slip stitches and the bubble stitches on the other side. Your project is going to be way bigger than this. This is just a little swatch. So my one is 38.5 by 38.5 centimeters. So what we are going to be doing now, I'm going to show you how I did the little finishing details of the top. So our top is going to be this way, and this is going to be the top of our top, and here's going to be the bottom, and I'm going to be folding it here so that we create the neck, and it's also not super pointy here. I do prefer to be a little bit straight here at the top. And then we are going to be adding the string that is going to go around the top at the back to create the strap. All right, so at the top of my top I'm going to be doing slip stitches, and then here at the bottom I'm going to be doing the bubble stitch. So the very first thing we are going to do, so following the project, going up, first we are going to chain 1, turn project. We are going to be working all the details here at the back of the project, and you will see why, because when you get here at the bottom of the top, we are going to be doing the bubble stitches, and when we do the bubble stitch, they will be facing the right side of the project, and you will see why. So we are going to be creating some slip stitches here into the top of the square. So go into this very first one, pull up a loop, and then slide this first loop into the second to create a slip stitch. So go through the next one, pull up a loop, slide to the previous one. All right, so like this, you will be creating slip stitches into every stitch all the way to the end, so that I show you exactly what to do when you get here at the end. So when you get here at the end, I still have the chain 3 without doing anything. So we are going to be going right on top of the chain 3. We are going to be creating a slip stitch right into that stitch. And then we are just going to be finding stitches here on the sides. You will see that we don't really have stitches, but we are just going to try our best to create some slip stitches here on this side too. Just following the stitches that we have here. I'm getting here now towards the end. And when you get into this stitch here, this is a chain 3. So now here at the top, so at the top of the square, we did slip stitches, and then on this other side. So this is my left side. So when you get right into this chain 3, we are going to be creating 3 single crochets inside and going around the chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3 single crochets. Here it's where we are going to be going through with the strap, the back strap. So we are gonna go right into this very first stitch on top of this double crochet. We are going to be wrapping our yarn around the hook. You're gonna go through the next stitch available right on top of this double crochet, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through the first loop on the hook, keeping this last one on the hook. And then from here we are going to be making another one exactly like this one, and we are going to be repeating this 6 times in total to create the bubble. So wrap the yarn around the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, keeping this one on the hook, and then you're going to be doing this 6 times in total. So 3, so once you have 7 loops, because this one counts as 1, as you can see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops, you are going to yarn over and pull through all the loops together. And you just want to pull the yarn and the working yarn a little bit tight so that it tightens the bubble stitch. So it looks like this. And then you can just push the bubble like this by going underneath and pushing it outwards like this, just so that it reviews the bubble a little bit better. And now we are going to create 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. So now into the next one, we are going to be creating the bubble. So you're going to be following exactly the same steps as the very first one. Now we are going to be creating 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then the next one is going to be a bubble. So you're going to be repeating this same step all the the way down, and then I'm gonna show you how to move from here to the other side. So for this one here, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then here the 20th bubble is going to be into this little space that we have. Right at the bottom here is going to be number 20, the bubble number 20, all right? So I did 19 on this side, 19 on the other, and then 20 is going to be this one. So it's even on both sides. So this one, let's say that it's bubble number 19. So before you get to bubble number 20, you wanna create 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then the last one is going to be right on top of the chain 3. And now we can create the bubble inside this little space. So now we want to make 3 single crochets here on the other side. So I'm going to try and do kind of match the bubbles from this side. So you want to have the same numbers of bubbles that you have here on this side too. So I'm going to be making 1 single crochet here into the stitch close to this bubble. And then another one right on top of this sided stitch. If you see that there is like a big gap here, you can just grab one little stitch from the previous stitch just to close this gap a little bit. And then the 3rd single crochet. And now right into this stitch, I'm going to be creating the next bubble. You can turn here on the other side, see if they match. This is pretty good. So now we are going to create 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then 3. Just finding stitches as you can see. And then the next one is going to be a bubble. So you just want to find stitches and basically match the bubbles here on the other side. It's pretty good, as you can see. I don't really count stitches or anything like that. I just kind of eyeball it. I know this is something that crocheters do a lot. So here into this one is going to be a bubble. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be perfect. Right. Let's make the last one now. So 1, 2, 3. Let's just kind of match what we have here. We have the 3 single crochets. Remember that we have to do the 3 single crochets on and around here, the corner. So I'm going to be doing this bubble into this space, but I'm going to be grabbing just one little stitch from the other stitch so that it closes here, this gap a little bit. So you will see that in this little gap here that we have right at the end is where we are going to be doing the 3 single crochets exactly like we did to this other side here. And now we can just find one little stitch from the other side, from the very first slip stitches here, or any stitch you can find, slip stitch right into that stitch, chain one, and we can cut the yarn, and we can now fasten off. Oh my god. So here we have the little swatch completed. So we have the bubbles, the slip stitches, and the main part of the top completed, in which is the front. From this little swatch, you will have this massive square. So you will have it like this, with the bubbles here, like this, on this side and the bottom, and the slip stitches here at the top and on this side. All you have to do is to turn it like this, so that you have a diamond shape top. Oh my god, it looks so fun. This top is so quick. So once you have this completed, we have to now do two last things to complete our top. Yes, you heard me right. Two last things and we are done and completed, and we can start wearing our top. It's super, super quick. If you like to have this pointy like this, you can try and wear it like that, but you see too much boobs here. Kind of you have some boobs showing, and I don't really like that. So what I found to be the best to do with this top is to just fold a little bit. I'm going to be folding it around 10 centimeters here, and then I'm going to be sewing it down, leaving a little passage so that we can pass this string, the strap, through here, this passage, so that we can create the neck, just like this. I do prefer the neck to be a little bit square here at the top. You can do a little bit less folded if you want. You can do it like this. First, we have to turn our square on the reverse, and making sure that we have the bubbles here at the bottom. Bubbles are here, slip stitches are here. Then you're gonna get a little bit of the same yarn that you've created your project with. You don't need a lot, so cut a little bit of the yarn. Now I'm going to be using my tapestry needle to sew this part together, to fold here. I'm going to also use a double yarn on my tapestry needle, put it together and create a knot right here at the end. I'm going to be cutting the excess by leaving just a little bit of yarn at the end. So now we are going to be folding here 10 centimeters. You can do a little bit more if you want, or less. It's going to depend on how you want your top to look. So I'm going to be folding here 10 centimeters. That's good. So I've folded 10 centimeters. And I'm going to be pinning this together so it's not going to be moving around when I'm sewing. So here at the top, you're going to be starting the sewing after 2 centimeters. So the sewing is going to start here and then go all the way down, sew it together, all the way up, and then you're going to be stopping before you reach here at the end, leaving also 2 centimeters. So we have a little passage. So first you want to make sure that you leave 2 centimeters open here at the top. So you're gonna get one little stitch from the back of the project, just like that, and one stitch from the folded part, and you're going to be sewing them together. Before you go all the way, go through here the loop at the end and sew it, make it nice and tight to secure this yarn in place so that you don't have to do any fasten off or anything like that. And then all you have to do is to grab one little stitch from the back of the project and one from the folded part, just like this, and sew them together. Make sure that you don't go all the way through so that you can see the yarn at the front of the project. Make sure that it's nice and hidden here at the back. When you get here at the bottom, you can just sew around by following here the folded part. From here, you can just follow the same all the way up, remembering to leave 2 centimeters here at the top. So I have 2 centimeters here at the top, the opening. So now we can fasten off by going through that stitch one more time, but you're not going to be going all the way through. You're going to be leaving a little loop here, and then you go through this loop, and now you can sew it together, give it a little tug so that it secures this yarn in place. And now we can weave this yarn in. And I'm also going to be weaving all of the other yarns that I have here around my project so that I can show you next how to do the strap. So I'm done with the main part of the top. This is how it looks like. So here is the back, and this is the front of our top. And now I'm going to be showing you how to create and how to make the strap. So you can decide if you want to do exactly like what I'm doing now, if you have this tool. If you don't, I'll link that in the description, because you will want to have this tool because it's perfection. It's the best tool ever. I'm never going to be making straps ever again in my life because they are the longest thing to do in crochet, and this just saved my life. Trust me. So if you want to do this one, then you're going to be following what I'm going to do. It's super easy. If you don't have this tool and you want to make this in crochet with all crochet, you can create a chain that is 2 meters long, and then you can go back with single crochets into that chain and you will have something very similar to this. So now let's learn on how to use this tool. The very first thing you have to do, this is the very first thing, is to make sure that all the hooks are open going around this area here that goes around. So you want to make sure that they are all open, but all the way down. So you're gonna get your hook and you're going to be pushing that little bottom part down, as you can see. All right, all of them down. So now you have to get the yarn that you want to do your string with. So get the end of the yarn. You're going to be passing it through the loop here on the side, and you're going to be inserting it right into the middle hole, as you can see. And then it's going to go all the way down, and you will find it here at the bottom. So just pull a little bit until you have a little end, and you're going to secure the weight. You can see it opens. So open it, place the string, the end of the yarn, the end of the yarn inside, and you're going to be closing it. So just make sure that it's nice and close and you don't have a lot of yarn here at the bottom, but it doesn't really matter. So the first thing that you're going to be doing, I like to work this way. And we are going to be turning this clockwise, so that way, all right? So make sure that you have enough yarn to work with first before you even start. So you're going to be turning, twisting it like this, and you're going to be catching the yarn into the first hook, and then you're going to be skipping the next one by lifting the yarn and turning to go into the next hook. So skip that one, and then you're going to be catching it into the third one, and then you're going to be skipping the fourth one So you're going to be lifting the yarn, as you can see, and it's gonna go around without catching that one. And then from here, funny enough, you just have to keep on turning and turning and twisting it here. This little thing that I don't know how it's called. Turning and turning until you have your strap done. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see what I'm going to be doing now. So just lift everything so it is not touching the table, and you just have to now go around and around. So it's going to create your string. Look at that. Oh my God, can you believe? So when it's going down, you have to move the weight closer to the bottom and lock the yarn here at the bottom, because it's going to take the weight down, and the string is going to go down too. And that's it, everyone. Can you believe? It's that easy. Oh my God, isn't it the best thing ever? I was shook. It's nearly here. So move the weight to the top again and continue. Oh my God, this is so addicting. Oh my God, look at that. God, everybody, look at that. It's so fun. Oh my God. Look at it. Look at that beautiful string. Oh my God. So here, when you get to this point, you can move this all the way to the top, grabbing the string. So it's going to take it down to help you to create the string, the sizing that you need. Just make sure that you kind of untwist a little bit of yarn from the yarn ball, so that it's not kind of forcing this little thing here to pull the yarn. So you just want to make sure that you have enough yarn. Look at it going down. This is so addicting. So you can see when you don't have any more space here at the bottom, kind of if it's already touching the floor, or the table, just move up, secure this at the bottom, and continue. Look at it going down. Oh my God, this is so addicting. All right, I have to stop because mine is already completed. So once you have the sizing of the strap you want, I've done mine 2 meters long. So this is just a little swatch that I did to show you how this machine works. So to fasten off, we are going to cut a little bit the yarn, just like this. Before you lift the machine, make sure that you hold the yarn here in place, and you just want to lift the weight from the table, and we are going to be holding a little bit, just a little bit, and you're going to be turning it until it finishes by itself. So you can also release a little bit if you want the yarn. So you can just turn all the way that it's released from the machine. As you can see, it's released. It's done. So now you will have the little loops of the machine here. So now to finish it off, to fasten off here our string, you are going to be finding the very first one. So this is the very first loop. You're going to go through the second one, and you're going to be passing the end through the second loop, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then the first one again, just like that. And then you are going to tighten all this together, just like that. How incredible is this? We can now release from the weight, and here we have our strap completed. You can also tighten here the other side if you want, so it's a little bit nicer. And now to weave in the end tail, you're gonna get the tapestry needle, if I can find it. So you're going to be threading this yarn into a tapestry needle, and then you just have to go back and forth until this yarn is secured in place. Just back and forth like this, just so that you can hide this yarn inside the string. It's very simple. And then just cut the end off and move a little bit around, and we are done. Oh my god, and I'm gonna do the same here on the other side. And now we are going to be passing this strap, the string, through the opening that we left here at the top. So it's gonna go all the way through, so it's going to be coming from this side and out from the other side. You can also use your hook to help you, so go through the top. So go through the top and use this to grab the strap and just bring it to the other side. As you can see, super easy. Make sure that it's even so that we can get an even lace here at the back. So now to put it together, fold it like this so it's a little bit easier for you to see what you're doing. So you have the strap like this, so cross them like that. And then you are going to be going through this little gap, this little loop here that we've created with the 3 single crochets around. So go through that. And the same here on the other side. If you want, you can leave it like this and your top is done. When you're doing it, you can check if you like it just like this, or if you want to do another cross here at the back. All right, I preferred with another cross. It looks really pretty like this too, just like that, but I preferred with another cross. So choose a stitch, pass it through this stitch, and then do the same here on the other side. And that's it. It's this quick. Oh my god, I'm so excited, everybody. We are actually finished with the top. And then here at the end, when you have it on, you're going to be making a little bow. You're going to be tying a little bow. And that's it. We are done with our top. I cannot believe. It looks super funny like this, but it looks amazing on. You will see at the beginning of the video. Oh my god, I can't. It's so cute. I love how it goes diagonally like this with the yarn, because this yarn is colorful, so you can see the lines going diagonally like this, and oh my god, I love that so much. It's so different, and oh my god, I love this top. You can also cross here at the front as well. So there are many different ways you can do here at the back. This is just a way that I preferred and I liked, the back being like this. You can just do anything that you want. So yeah, we are done with today's tutorial. It was so quick, right? I'm so excited to try this on to style. Oh my god, it's so cute. Also, just adding a few little things that you can change. You can do a different pattern. You don't have to do the Alpine stitch as I did. You can also do just double crochets going up, or single crochets that it's a little bit more covered, or maybe you can also do a shell stitch that it's nice and close together and that it's not gappy. The reason why I chose this pattern, this stitch pattern, is because first, it's beautiful. I love this stitch so much. It was actually my first time trying this stitch out and I love it. I would definitely use this stitch for more projects. And second, because the coverage is 100%. Like, you don't see anything, there is no gaps anywhere, so you will be able to wear this without a bra, which is incredible, or you can just wear a nipple cover. It's going to be perfect and nobody's going to see anything, and you're not going to be flashing anyone anything. And also you can change the little details. You can do some picots instead of the bubble stitch. I just loved the bubble stitch so much. So yeah, this is like the things that you can change about this this top, but overall it's amazing. I loved this pattern so much. Let me know in the comments how it was for you guys to follow today's project. Also, don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you end up making this top, because oh my god, I would love to see the yarn you're going to be using. I know you guys love colorful yarns, so I cannot wait to see all the colorful yarns you're going to be using. This yarn here that I've used in today's video is going to be linked in the description, so if you want to check it out, it's from Teslan, is the Iggy Ghost. This yarn is incredible, 100% cotton, so it's perfect for summertime. So yeah, this is the end of today's video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to leave your massive thumbs up as you always do. Also, don't forget to subscribe and to turn on the notification bell to receive notifications every time I post a new crochet tutorial or a new video here on the channel. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!